So, all over the world we have these strange megalithic spheres that no civilization has any form of writing about. The majority of them have been unearthed in the Central American country of Costa Rica, but they've also been found in Mexico, Bolivia, New Zealand, Easter Island, Siberia, Tunisia, the Canary Islands, and Albania and Croatia. In this video we're going to take a look at all the areas these have been found, and see if we can figure out who made them, and why. There are several theories already out there, so we'll consider those as we go, but Costa Rica is where we'll start. At all these other locations there's been one or a few of these found, but in Costa Rica there's been over 300 dug up, and I do mean dug up. They find these half in the ground in near archaeological sites, sometimes on top of mounds. The people that live at these sites in Costa Rica were called the Diquis culture, a part of the larger Veraguas culture. And not much is known about them because they didn't possess the technology of writing, but we do have what they left behind. Their artifacts show us they had a huge abundance of gold, and pretty intricately laid out cities too. From looking through these artifacts, and similarly to other cultures in the area, I would venture to say that they practiced a shamanistic mushroom religion, similar to the ayahuasca shamans we find in the Amazon. Their artifacts are full of mushroom symbolism, so the spiritual, superstitious, and an intense observance of nature and the stars above would have been a huge part of the Diquis' daily life. At one of the sites known as Diquis Valley, the spheres have been left preserved in their original location, in circular, semicircular, and triangular alignments, in a large open area near the main square of the village. Here's the general consensus among historians. They say their meaning is a matter of debate. It was initially believed that they were symbols of rank, power, and ethnic identity, given that their number, finish, and size is greater near the villages. However, the discovery of solitary spheres has interpreted their use as territorial markers. Their function as mnemonic artifacts has also been considered, that is, as memory aids, in association with the study of celestial phenomena, and natural, agricultural, and calendar cycles, or their use as astronomical gardens that represent sidereal elements, such as constellations, although the alignments cannot be found to be associated with any stellar grouping. They have, however, been associated with the equinoxes and solstices, for which their arrangement would be modified depending on the sunrise, trajectory, and setting of the sun. This would make a lot of sense, as celestial alignments, astrological events, and the calendar were very important to the culture just to the north of the Diquis, the Olmec, who would have been thriving around the same time period. Maybe these stone spheres were the Diquis version of the Olmec or Mayan calendar. We know all Olmec sites were built in alignment with constellations. Maybe they did the same thing in Costa Rica. The Diquis could have been lining these spheres up and rolling them around into specific positions to mark days, years, months, equinoxes, etc. Just like the Mayan calendar or astrological charts do. But wait, these stone spheres weigh up to 16 tons and are made of granodiorite and basalt, two materials that are insanely dense and high on the hardness scale. And we've only found copper and stone tools at Diquis sites, which would be way too soft to carve granodiorite or basalt at all. Even today we have to use diamond blades. Normal steel will work, but it would be tough, and you can't get any kind of fine precision. Historians have no answer for this. It's just a mystery. But some have suggested that maybe these stone spheres weren't created by the Diquis, and were made by a much earlier culture, whose buildings and creations have been lost to us. As stated previously, the Olmecs were thriving to the north of the Diquis. It's believed they had a similar calendar to the later Mayan and Aztec, and they were also said by historians to have been the first pyramid builders in the region, the oldest known being the site at La Venta, which only remains today as a mound of earth, but was once a huge step pyramid. At these Olmec sites they found the famous 17 colossal heads, and if you ask me, I see these as possibly having a similar purpose to the stone spheres. The Olmec heads were also made of basalt, Another striking detail is the similar magnetic anomalies on the heads and the stone spheres. The heads have been shown to have a small magnetic effect focused around the center of the face. And I've heard some of these spheres in Costa Rica have also shown this same effect. But granodiorite and basalt are in no way magnetic. The only good explanation is that there is a small amount of magnetite in the igneous rock. But how did the Olmec know that, and carve them so the small amount of magnetism is focused in the center of the face? Another mystery. One theory suggests that these stone spheres were placed in certain alignments to affect the energy of a site. Magnets can be used to affect energy and even transmit it through wires. In a generator, magnets are used to convert electrical energy into mechanical energy, and vice versa. The magnets moving past conductive coils induce an electric current, which can be transmitted through wires to power devices. Magnets are also used in transformers to transfer electrical energy between circuits by inducing a changing magnetic field in one coil that then induces a corresponding electrical current in another coil. And many ancient cultures believed that small changes in alignments of objects, or possibly even magnetic fields around those objects, could affect the flow of energy at a site, just like feng shui in China. The Olmec were known to build and place their cities in very specific ways to align with the stars, as did many other cultures in the Americas. So could the spheres and heads have been a part of some kind of energy grid? This is similar to the ley line theory, the idea that there are certain points and lines on Earth that give off more energy, forming a sort of world grid. Pyramids, holy sites, ancient megaliths were all built along these lines to maximize spiritual or etheric energy. Both granodiorite and basalt are filled with crystals, mostly feldspar and olivine, and some quartz. And crystals can also have energetic properties. Crystals are used in oscillators, frequency control devices, and piezoelectric transducers today. The easiest way to explain this is with a watch. A quartz crystal is used in a watch because it vibrates at such a specific frequency without change that it can be used to count things like seconds, minutes, and hours with extreme accuracy, never veering or changing the frequency at which it vibrates. This is called a crystal oscillator. A crystal oscillator generates precise electrical signals by vibrating at a specific frequency when an electrical field is applied to it. Again, this creates precision timing in devices like radios, computers, or watches. We also use them in frequency control devices, such as quartz resonators and quartz filters. These devices help control the frequency of electrical signals and filter out unwanted frequencies, contributing to the reliable operation of electronic systems. And then there's the piezoelectric effect. When a crystal, usually quartz, is put under stress, it produces an electric charge. Perhaps the movement of these spheres, maybe during an earthquake, could have created this electrical charge, causing the magnetic effects of the object, and a sort of charging of them in a way to affect the surrounding energy of the area. Or maybe even sending energy along a grid of copper or gold, which they did have in huge abundance. I've seen this theory stated before at a different site, all the way over in France at the Karnak stones. These stones sit directly on a fault line and have huge amounts of quartz crystal in them, leading some to speculate that during an earthquake they would be put under stress from their weight pushing against the moving ground, creating electricity, which in theory one could then run through wires and charge something. But a spherical shape might work much better. As mentioned before, these stones have been found all over the world, but one of them, the largest, was found in Croatia, not far from what is possibly the largest pyramid we know of, the Pyramid of the Sun in Bosnia. Maybe these stone spheres have some kind of relation to pyramids. Pyramids have also been theorized to be energy generators. Maybe these were just components of that. Another theory says that they were navigational markers from an advanced civilization that's been long forgotten. We've talked about ancient explorers in some previous videos, and I'll link those below. But there have been a number of figures talked about in history and mythology that were said to have traveled huge distances in the ocean. Oftentimes these were the gods, or the first rulers of early civilizations. Figures like Gilgamesh, King Solomon, Hercules, Quetzalcoatl, Thoth, Poseidon, and many more all claim to have traveled to an extremely far-off distant land. Maybe these stone spheres were something one of them left behind as markers of where they've been. Large stones are often used for this purpose, but to use a perfectly spherical stone would be recognizable all the way out from sea. This is why these are in such remote places. We even have an example of these on Easter Island in the middle of the Pacific. The final theory about these stone spheres is that they are a remnant of the war in heaven, spoken of in several mythologies. Maybe these were some kind of weapon of the gods, or remnant of their technology they used to wage war on each other. We find this story in the Greek, the Titans versus the Olympians, where the Olympian god Zeus used his great lightning bolt to defeat the Titans and imprison them in Tartarus. Or in the Vedic text, where the god used super weapons known as the Brahmastra to cause worldwide disaster and create entire deserts. The Bible also speaks of a war in the sky, the fall of the angels from heaven. Could these be remnants of those events? I'd love to hear any other theories you guys have about the stone spheres down in the comments. YouTube has been deleting some comments, but they sent me some kind of error message, so we'll see if it still happens. See you guys next time, and thank you for watching.